Jesus is telling us to do here. We have to be on guard against the leaven of the Pharisees. And what is that leaven? It's hypocrisy. Romans 2:1 says this, "You therefore have no excuse, you who pass judgment on someone else. For whatever point you judge the other, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment do the same things." So why am I talking about this morning? Why am I talking about hypocrisy? Because every one of you are like, I know there's a bunch of hypocrites out there. Because this has to do with our vision as a church. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be rolling this out to you, what our vision of our church is for First Christian Church, what our vision is for us as individuals, what our vision is for us as a congregation, because there's a difference, and what is our vision for us within this community. Because those are the three things we need to be looking at how we do this. Because here's the thing, guys, God is working on me. He's working on me. He's showing me where to go, what to do, how I need to speak. He's using people in my life to do that. My wife is one of them. And, sometimes it hurts. We were out to eat the other night, and I haven't even told her this yet, but because I hate admitting when she's right, but which is most of the time. We were out eating, and we were talking about a movie, and I said something that wasn't quite appropriate, and she made sure I knew that it wasn't quite appropriate. And everybody, nobody else heard her but me, but immediately I clammed up. How dare she tell me what to say and what not to say? And we got in the car, and she said, "Well, should you say that? Would you say that in church?" And I was like, "Well, I shouldn't say that ever then." And that's when I realized, I was like, I shouldn't say that ever then. We have people that teach us what we're supposed to do, and they hold us accountable, and I'm so thankful for her. But if I'm learning to follow, then in turn, it's my job to lead you all. It's my job to lead this congregation, because it tells in Ephesians 4 that a pastor is assigned his job, as well as teachers and apostles and prophets. They're assigned their job to equip the saints to do ministry. My job is not to just teach you and to feed you, but rather if you saw a shepherd with his sheep, his job is to protect them, to guide them, to lead them, so that they can what? Live their own lives. It's not my job to make sure a sheep eats. It's not my job to make sure that they do the normal things they're supposed to do. It's my job to make sure they are in a place and they're in a situation where they can thrive. That's my job. But that means there's a responsibility on your part too. And the bad thing is some of us, myself included, have a hard time being led. We have a hard time being guided because we want to do it on our own. So what is our vision for the church? Today we're going to talk about what our vision is for us as individuals, okay? It tells in Scripture that we have to run our own race. I have to run my race with perseverance. So what's your vision for yourself? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you see God falling into your life? How does that affect your life, and what does it look like? And some of us don't ever ask these questions. I have a vision for individuals in this church who love Christ by loving others. It's so much easier said than done. I have a vision for individuals in this church who recognize their gifts and talents and then use them for God's glory. People who care more about others than they do themselves. And I ask you this question. Would people recognize you as a Christian by the way you loved? Not by the way you lived, but by the way you loved. Because we can live a really full life. We can show up to church. We can listen to the music. We can go to the right places. And we can live right, but we can love not at all. And there's a big difference. There are 3 steps to doing this. And these are the 3 points we're going to go over today. And I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. We need to understand this because we won't even appreciate the gift of God if we don't understand where we are when we receive it, okay? And so the first thing we have to do as individuals is we have to reject unholy living. Not just acknowledge it, but reject it. I can't have this as a part of my life, okay? It's not recognizing that you're a sinner, but rather recognize your sin, your own personal sin. Okay, because that's going to be different for Doug, it's going to be different for Aaron, it's going to be different for Don, it's going to be different for Jody, it's going to be different for Barb, it's going to be different for each one of you, your own struggles. But you have to recognize your own. Maybe it's gossip. Maybe it's anger. Maybe you're just selfish. That's right, that's one of my struggles. I'm selfish. Maybe it's alcohol. Maybe it's pornography. Maybe it's tobacco. I'm not saying tobacco's a sin. But if it's wrong to you, then you shouldn't do it. Maybe it's adultery. Maybe it's laziness. Maybe it's coveting. I don't know. But you can't find a remedy until you identify a problem. See, the Pharisees had no problem telling people how it was and how they should live and what they should follow but they had no interest in doing it themselves. No interest. And I was reading the scripture, and I was like, why is Jesus saying this? I mean, if you back up, because he says meanwhile, so there's something else was going on at this time. Meanwhile, right before that, he had just laid it out to these Pharisees. And if you read the middle of chapter 11, Jesus goes into these 6 woes. In other words, woe is you who do this. Woe is you who do this. And he literally just lays it out on the Pharisees. And I'm going to read that to you in a minute, but understand this. You need to look at your life, okay? I was going to do something this morning, and I forgot these things, but I feel like it would have made some of you all extremely uncomfortable. I was going to bring in some alcohol. Oh, I just heard. I was going to have some cigarettes up here on stage.